In comes Everly now, spinning back. Jordan Everly feeds it down to Taylor Hall. They might find themselves a new centerman next year as Connor McDavid arrives in Edmonton. Now Belov works in, he shoots, glove down by Smith. He hangs on long enough to get a face-off. And there's 1:07 to go in the third period. Whoops.
Sometimes the change can be difficult. Get a foot hooked up on the boards and down goes Crosby.
Well, Phil Esposito fell at Moscow.
Everything's funny when you're up 5 anyway.
Exactly. This tournament has been a game changer for Canada at the World Championship. The number of players who bought in, big names who bought in. And the way they put this thing together won't be forgotten for a long time.
When you watch a tournament, you hope the best team wins. The team that's played the best and is deserving of being the champion. And Team Canada has left no doubt about who the best team is in this tournament and who deserves the gold medal. Start to finish, this has been a Canadian rout.
And the team that came closest to beating them was France. Time winding down here in the third period. 10 seconds to go. Canada holds the gold medals at the Olympics, the World Junior, and now the World Championship. It's a 6-1 final, and Canada has won gold in Prague. Next time someone says this tournament doesn't mean much, show them a picture of that.
You come over here, you want to win, you want to play hard, you want to get the best results you possibly can. And it's a commitment to come here. It's over 3 weeks. You got to play 10 games if you're going to win. And Canada, start to finish, got the job done. They deserve to win.
And Sidney Crosby becomes the 26th member of the Triple Gold Club, completing the triple with a World Championship to go along with his Olympic gold medals and the Stanley Cup he won. Vladislav Tretiak, part of the organizing committee for next year's tournament in Russia. Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, disproportionately represented in the NHL, and quite happily so. Stay with us, we'll have the entire post-game ceremony for you, including the tournament all-star team, the top players as selected by the directorate. Of course, the presentation of the medals. And Canada. Brian Woodrick downstairs. We'll get interviews with Canadian players. And now the Canadians adopting the Czech tradition of hopping. And for Ilya Kovalchuk in Russia, it's a silver medal for a team that is always so dangerous.
The Directorate Awards will now be presented.
So time now for the Directorate Awards. That's the MVP, top forward, top goalie, top defenseman.
International Ice Hockey Federation Ice Hockey World Championship is from Team Finland.
So Pekka Rinne is the goalie of the tournament. He set the modern-day record for the longest shutout streak at more than 200 minutes plus.
Gordon laughing, they're announcing the best defensemen. They got all kinds of preparations going on the ice here. I guess they're not presenting anything right now.
No, Brent Burns is the top defenseman. Second time for him.
Brent Burns! And the best forward is from Team Canada.
And Jason Spezza, who leads the tournament in points, is named the top forward.
That could have been a a bunch of players on the Canadian roster.
And also, it's our honor to present you the Media All-Star team that will be now presented on the
So now it's time for the Media All-Star team that was voted on by reporters covering the tournament.
And the goal from Team USA number
So Connor
37,
Hellbuck is the Media All-Star goaltender, even though Rene's named the top goalie. Burns and Oliver Ekman-Larsson on defense. Jason Spezza, Taylor Hall, and Jaromir Jagr are the top forwards. Tyler Seguin, who led the tournament with 9 goals,
and the forwards.
gets passed over, but I think he'll take that with a gold medal. And one more cheer for Jagr goes up.
From Team Canada, number 90, Jason Spezza. And from Team Canada, number 4, Taylor Hall.
So the celebration continues on the ice for the management team led by General Manager Jim Nill. His assistants included George McPhee, the former GM of the Washington Capitals, Pat Verbeek, a pro scout for or director of player personnel rather for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Peter Chiarelli, the new GM in Edmonton. Russians watch Canada celebrate again as they did in Toronto at the World Junior Championship. And there it is, the World Championship trophy, which will have Canada engraved on it for the first time since 2007.
Summer vacation begins. Players will disperse quickly over the next day or so.
I would like to ask both teams
Head back home
on the line for the closing ceremony. Both teams, please stand up on the blue line for the closing ceremony. Thank you very much.
So the teams now will assemble on the blue line.
All the teams will be awarded with the watch.
And it's time for the player of the game presentation.
Of the 2015 International Ice Hockey Federation Ice Hockey World Championship. The best player award, as selected by each team, will be presented by the representative of TISO, Mr. Roger Juliet, and CEO of Teta Group, Mr. Philip Zapta. The best player of Team Russia is player number 10, Sergei Mozyakin.
Mozyakin is the Russian scoring star in this tournament. Once a 9th-round pick by Columbus in 2002, he never came to North America.
The best player of Team Canada is player number 28, Claude Giroux.
Claude Giroux of the Flyers. Native of Hearst, Ontario. He and Sidney Crosby, who have gone head-to-head so many times, were side by side for so much of this tournament.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, the official marketing partner of the International Ice Hockey Federation, Influence Sports and Media, has set out a special bonus.
And now, a special delivery for Hockey Canada. By winning all 10 of its games in regulation, in the first year of this promotion, Canada gets a check for $1 million Swiss francs on top of the cash prize that goes from the IIHF. So In-Front Sports and Media, the marketing company that oversees this tournament, wants to come grab that check. Crosby's going to get it. It's about 1.3 million Canadian dollars. Crosby says, well, thanks very much. That might be the last year for that promotion.
First year and you got to hand it out. What a dominating performance, though.
President of the International Ice Hockey Federation, Mr. René Fassen. Please welcome the referees.
So the referees will now be recognized for their work here. Vladimir Sindler and Tobias Verley were the 2 referees. Paul Carnathan and Miroslav Lonsky were the linesmen. You can say what you want about the way international hockey is called, but it's very consistent.
There was no issue with the officiating in this tournament. I thought it was excellent. Never going to love all the calls. It's just not possible. I thought they did a terrific job, though.
Congratulations and thank you for a wonderful game.
And they even reversed a wrong call in this game.
They got that right.
Now it's time for the MVP as selected by the directorate.
Will now be presented by Chairman of the Board, Dr. Winfried Palans. The most valuable player is from Team Czech Republic, number 68,
So Jágr is named the MVP of the tournament. Slava Leonard, the GM of the Czech team, will accept the award on his behalf. It was an emotional homecoming for Jágr, who came out of international retirement to play in this tournament and electrified it at times, especially his two-goal performance in the quarterfinals against the Finns. Now the presentation of the silver medals to Team Russia.
Russian Ice Hockey Association and International Ice Hockey Federation Council member Vladislav Tretiak.
So Vladislav Tretiak, the president of the Russian Ice Hockey Federation. Now, the medals, bronze, silver, and gold, embody two things that the Czech Republic is famous for. For years, the Czechs were the only makers of pucks for all the leagues around the world. And crystal. These are crystal pucks. Bohemian crystal, for which the Czechs are world famous.
It's a very unique medal. They look spectacular. And you mentioned today, Gord, at the end of the bronze medal game, that the team that wins the bronze is always much happier than the team that is awarded the silver medal, and it's because you lose. And the Russians, after receiving their medals, skate down to shake the hands of the Canadians at the far blue line.
By the way, the Russians, the host nation next year, will find out what the pools will be for next year. In a couple of days, the IIHF World Rankings will be calculated. As the handshakes continue here, Znarok was suspended for the gold medal game last year. Vladislav Tretiak was on hand earlier today to see Dominik Hasek inducted into the IIHF Hall of Fame. Ilya Kovalchuk playing in his 10th World Championship. Two-time gold medalist for the Russians. Kenny Malkin will meet up with some old friends along the line, opponents and friends. And Canada's win today comes on the 60th anniversary of the Penticton V's World Championship in 1955. So the Russians have their silver.
Please welcome the captain of Team Russia to accept the second.
Now they'll get the second place award.
Number 71,
And it'll be Captain Ilya Kovalchuk. Last 3 years in the KHL after being allowed to leave New Jersey. There's been some talk he'd like to get back to the National Hockey League, but there's some procedural barriers in the way for him. And now the moment that Canada has waited 8 years for.
By Hockey Canada Chairman of the Board, Mr. Joe Drago, and the President of the International Ice Hockey Federation, Mr. René Fassel.
So the presentation now of the gold medals to Canada.
World champion and the winner of the gold medal of the 2015 International Ice Hockey Federation Ice Hockey World Championship.
Joe Drago, the chairman of the board for Hockey Canada. Sidney Crosby, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Dan Hamhughes, Smithers, BC. Jason Spezza, Toronto. Nathan McKinnon, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. Mike Smith, Kingston, Ontario. Tyson Berry, Victoria, BC. Braden Shen, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Claude Giroux, Hearst, Ontario. Tyler Sagan, Toronto, Ontario. Jake Muzzin from Woodstock, Ontario. Tyler Toffoli from Toronto. Tyler Ennis from Edmonton. Taylor Hall from Kingston, Ontario. Martin Jones from Vancouver. Matt Duchesne from Haliburton, Ontario. Cody Eakin from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Jordan Eberle from Regina. Ryan O'Reilly from Varna, Ontario. Brent Burns from Barrie. Patrick Weirkosh from Maple Ridge, BC. David Savard from St. Hyacinthe, Quebec. Aaron Ekblad from Belle River, Ontario. Sean Couturier from Bathurst, New Brunswick. Your 2015 World Champions for Canada. And the coaching staff, Peter DeBoer, Jay Woodcroft. The training staff. And of course the head coach, Todd McClellan. The Russians now salute the fans here. So many came from Russia. The streets filled with Russian fans the last few days. And the Canadians join in that applause. And the Russians make their way off. Now we better as the host nation next year in St. Petersburg and Moscow.
The International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship Trophy will now be presented by the President of the International Ice Hockey Federation, René Passel. Please welcome the captain of Team Canada to receive the International Ice Hockey Federation World Championship.
These two guys know each other pretty well. Twice at the Olympics, now at the World Championship. Also a World Junior Champion for Canada, Sidney Crosby, back in 2005. He's got his triple gold.
2 hours after being eliminated, he called Jim Nill that he wanted to come and play, and a season that ended in disappointment. He wanted a chance to keep playing, and 3 weeks later, they win the World Championship. Dan Hamhuis was the only player that had won one before. Just watching the guys, they better be careful on that
confetti's
stuff.
hard to skate on. Mike Smith, who had played in the World Championship before, lost in a shootout in 2013 to the Swedes in the quarterfinal. Brent Burns has been here before. Lost in overtime to the Russians in 2008. And here is René Fazal.
Congratulations, Team Canada. Огромное вам спасибо. Русские болельщики, спасибо. I would like to thank all the volunteers, all the media, and especially you, great hockey fans. 741,690 world record. You are world champion. Thank you very much. On behalf of the International Ice Hockey Federation, I declare the World Championship 2015 in Prague and Ostrava closed. See you in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Thank you.
And now I invite you to please stand up for the national anthem of the world champion, Team Canada. National anthem of Canada will be performed by PKF Prague Philharmonia.
Picture perfect. Team Canada, perfect tournament. 10-0. That's what you play for. That's what you live for. Sidney Crosby, triple gold. The entire team, gold and pure Canadian gold in the Czech Republic. Rod Black, Bob Airy back with you in the aftermath of one of the most dominant, decisive demolitions at the World Hockey Championship. This team was built for gold.
They were built for gold, and the same model in Sochi. It was defense first, and you know, you couldn't be more proud of these Canadians who were assembled by Jim Nill, and this team was put together to win, and they were solid in all aspects of the game. And starting today with Burns, best defenseman in the tournament. Jake Muzzin had one heck of a tournament. The Los Angeles King on Malkin. You had to be tough on all the great players, Tarasenko and Kovalchuk, Ovechkin and Malkin, and that's what Canada was. They back-checked. They played defense. They rallied. They gave up 15 goals in 10 games, Rod.
You saw the aftermath with all that sort of those gold flakes that came down. Well, the players have moved around so they can skate, because I don't think they could skate over those gold flakes. And Aaron Ekblad can't say enough about the youngest member of Team Canada and what he did for this team. Patrick Weirkosh, you know, he was scratched a few times for the Ottawa Senators this year. Braden Shen, he's got his jersey on, his skates on, scratched a couple of games as well here. And how about Braden Shen? They're all such a big part of this, and he did not play today as well.
Coaches.
Well, what do you think? Todd McClellan on his way to Edmonton?
It appears that that's going to happen, and rightfully so. As Ray Ferreau said earlier in this hockey game, I like the way Team Canada brought it over to their families and friends that are over there in Prague right now. And certainly they couldn't do it without the support of that cast as well.
Talked about General Manager Jim Nill. That must have been a nice phone call he got that one day. All the staff for Team Canada, when Sidney Crosby calls, you see him like, who's this number coming? Hey, hi, Jim, it's Sid Crosby. You know, if you have a spot, I wouldn't mind playing.
Well, they obviously did not have a captain picked at that time. They gave the seat to Sidney Crosby, and you know, really leading by example in this tournament. But everybody was easily following along, and it really, to me, was defense first. They brought in a veteran goaltender, Mike Smith. They had enough scoring to go around, but at the end of the day, could they play strong enough defense to go against Czech Republic and the Russians?
You know, I love those pictures of those guys, and you know, you never saw Team Canada celebrate really after goals. You never saw them sing "O Canada" after all the anthems 9 times it had played, until you saw them singing, and it reminds you of why you kind of play the game. You want to win. You want to get that. Yeah. You have one of those. You won one in 1997. They were like little boys out there.
They were. You could see the reacts after the second goal went in, after the fourth goal in. You saw the bench, and Nathan McKinnon looked like a 12-year-old. I mean, it was incredible to see everybody rally around. And then at the end of the day, I mean, Tyler Ennis. Are you kidding me? Look at that wrapper on the fourth line got involved. We talked so much about the Crosby unit, and Crosby did score in this game, had a point in every game he played. And then Claude Giroux making that play to Seguin. And then this one, the Battle of PA, Pittsburgh to Giroux, Philadelphia Flyers. Nate McKinnon getting into the act. He scored the first goal for Canada. He scored the last goal for Canada. So as if defense wasn't enough, giving up only 15 goals, they scored 66 goals in the 10 games. So you do the math. It's pretty easy, Rod. They were dominant in every facet.
It was so cool to see Claude Giroux and Sidney Crosby, who have battled so often, you know, hugging each other after goals, and then they'll get back to battling again next year as well. Here they come. They're heading to the dressing room. We're going to get some post-gold reaction from Team Canada. First time since 2007. They have some karma here in Prague as well. They won in 2004. Mike Babcock, by the way, was the head coach that year. They won in Prague in the Czech Republic. The last couple of years, we've been doing this for a while. Canada has not won in a while. We've talked about Russia last year being one of the most dominant teams, one of the best teams ever. 2 years previous, we talked about Russia being maybe the best team the World Championships have ever seen. I think this Team Canada may have raised the bar even higher.
They had no weak links. You know, they were put together to win. from the goaltender to the defense to the forwards. And if you wanted to play a 7-6 game, Canada could do it. If you wanted to play a 1-0 game, as Canada did in the semifinals, winning 2-0, you could do it. 10-0 for $1 million.
How about that? 6.6 goals a game, 1.5 goals against. Like, you can score a lot of goals. That's the thing. This team scored in bunches, as they did in this game. They put up 6 in this game. But also Mike Smith and what he did. You still have to have your last line of defense. And Mike Smith was outstanding.
Well, he was. But he was able to handle the puck in areas that he wouldn't be able to do in the National Hockey League. But he made big saves. He only gave up 1 goal in the 3 playoff games, did Mike Smith. Boy, he was solid. The defense tried to shut down the second opportunity. Mike Smith was good from the start of this tournament, making big saves at key moments to get Canada into some of these hockey games, and he was great to the bitter end. So congratulations to Mike Smith and Team Canada. It was a horrible year for Mike Smith out in Arizona, and to finish the season this way for all these players, it leaves a great taste in your mouth.
Think about the Edmonton Oilers and all of the things they've gone through. They're going to get the #1 pick, quite obviously. All of these players, some people consider this, hey, you're out of the playoffs, you go to the Worlds. And I know in the past, some have said, you just go to the Worlds and play it out. You get ready for the summer, you get ready for next season. That's not the case anymore. And that picture at the end showed how important it is to win a World Championship. Look at the attendance records. Look at how many people watch this World Championship around our planet. At the beginning of this tournament, we talked about firepower for Team Canada. They had oodles of it, loads of it. But what about the fourth line and what they did as well? Well,
Tyler Ennis, Couturier was incredible. Ennis had contributions. Eakin had contributions. You go to Foley, played great, and Shen, even when he was in there, there's the redirect off the skate of Eakin. There's great passion, a reach by one of the smaller players in Ennis. So, there was nothing Team Canada didn't have. And to me, when the balance, the gold medal was not a question. In the second period, it was 4-0. It was dominated by Canada. And despite all that, when the game ended and the buzzer went, the gloves were off and they were embracing each other like they had won a Stanley Cup and they had done something very special. They had won a gold medal, and this was very important to them in Team Canada. 18 different players scored for Team Canada throughout this tournament. And when you think about this team, it's just not the goal scorers, it's the defense. And I know Jaromir Jagr got the MVP of the tournament, probably a sentimental vote. I'll tell you one guy who could have been MVP is Brent Burns. Brent Burns was incredible. It wasn't just what he brought to the table defensively, and he brought a lot of that, but he also brought offense. 4-point game in the tournament. Defensively against the Czech Republic, he was unbeatable. He stopped Jagr, and Ekblad was fantastic coming in the backside. So the defense of Canada, scoring goals was a huge part of this. Starting plays, stepping up on players, starting rushes. Not only defensively, offensively, they contributed to the 66 goals that Canada scored. We talked at the beginning of this hockey gold medal game as being like a boxing match, maybe an Ali Frazier, but it was more like Pacquiao and Mayweather. There was a lot of hype, and in the end, it was dominant. This Canadian team rolled over Russia. You thought there'd be a little more pushback from Russia. Yeah, there wasn't much, and you would thought the first goal was important, as it was when Russia played Team USA. USA had them 0-0 going into the third period. And in this game, yeah, Russia had a couple of opportunities, but they were few and futile. It was they didn't share the puck as much nearly, did they? Well, you could see in a lot of those rushes, it was one man on leading the rush, and not a lot of that puck support. And Canada had back checkers. They had guys standing up because you had back checkers. Everything was incredible, from a 5-man unit on the ice. Even the penalty killing, they only gave up 1 goal in the tournament. The power play was fantastic. There was not one weak link on Team Canada. It was dominance. We are going to try to get some interviews. We're going to get some very shortly to you. But Sidney Crosby, you get to see him as a Penguins broadcaster day in and day out. How important do you think this World Championship, to be part of this very elite club, 26 members to win a Stanley Cup, to win an Olympic gold medal, and now a World Championship? Well, it means a ton to him. He made the phone call. He picked up the phone, and he made the trip to Prague. And for Sidney Crosby, you know how important it is? You just see the smile on his face. You see him raising that cup. Yeah. I mean, that's all you need. The pictures speak 1,000 words. And by the way, he's one of the biggest game players ever. He has scored a goal in Vancouver,
the golden goal. He scored a goal in Sochi in a dominant performance, and he scored a goal here in this World Championship final. A guy who scored a lot of goals and may not get as many props as all those other guys is Tyler Seguin. What a tournament he had.
He had 9 goals in this tournament to Tyler Seguin. It was incredible. He had a hat trick, a power play, the way he's able to control the play with his head up. His shots are so precise. He's able to pick spots that others aren't. How about Spezza to Seguin? We saw that a couple of times on the power play. Had those soft hands. Those are buttery on a backhand, and he's not going to miss that one. So he hit a crossbar. He could have had 10. He had 9 goals and no assists. And he was very special. After a knee injury, Kulikov hit him. He low-bridged him. He missed 11 games. Tyler Seguin, another one of these Team Canada players that had a chance to really win the scoring title in the National Hockey League, unable to do it because he missed those 11 games. But he comes back and finishes the year strong.
You won Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh. Then you went and played for Canada. And I know you often talk about it because, you know, you said, hey, I got the call to play for Canada. What does it mean?
Well, you know, I didn't have a chance to put that jersey on. I mean, just to represent your country, and for these players to have that opportunity to represent your country and finish in this kind of fashion, it's incredible. It lives with you forever, Rod. It really does, and I get chills when I think about it. I enjoy being here and calling these games with you, but to see Canada and to hear that anthem again, that's a special thing.
Yeah. Great day to be Canadian. Great Canadian hockey fans, of course, throughout the world. They were there in Prague as well. The final rankings, well, Canada, again, #1. Defending Olympic champions are now world champions. SportsCenter's coming up. We're going to have all the reaction from the Czech Republic. For everybody overseas in Europe who have brought every game to you over the last 17 days, our great studio crew here, everybody back home in North America, Bob Airy, Dave Reed, Brian Mudrick, Dennis Bayak, Shane Knighty, Gord Miller, Ray Ferraro, our entire announce team. Hasn't been said at the World.
Give them a gold.
They were all gold medalists. Canada, pure Canadian gold. World champions again.